good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Education. Today is June 13, 2016, and we've scheduled a public hearing on the 2016-17 budget for Weld County School District 6. Pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 2244-110, any taxpayer residing in the school district is entitled to register his or her comments on the proposed budget with the Board of Education, either in writing or in person at a public hearing. The proposed budget for the 2016-17 fiscal year has been posted on the district's website, and a copy is and has been available in the district's communications office for review. At this point, I will ask members of the audience if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to participate in this public hearing and make comments about the budget. I'm seeing no one interested to speak about that particular topic at this time. Therefore, I'm closing this public hearing, and I thank you for your participation. And I say, welcome. It is now the public hearing of the Board of Education. It's June 13, 2016, and I welcome you to this meeting of the Weld County School District 6 Board of Education. This meeting is now coming to order. Will you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Roll call, Ms. Brea.
Mr. DeWitt?
Present.
Mr. Hafley?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Lydiak?
Present.
Ms. Pappas?
Present.
Dr. Richard?
Present.
Mrs. Solis?
Present.
7 members are present.
Thank you. This item is the Board of Education President announcements, and I have a couple of comments to make. One is to remind participants that we usually have 3 key words that we focus on as we're working for the school district that are part of our oath to the community, and they're encapsulated by these words: engage, empower, and inspire. And tonight we have the engage part taken care of with all of the volunteers who are here this evening to be recognized and thanked. We have the empower component in the form of tonight's budget, which is a thrilling and happy thing to participate in, but essential for us to discuss and put in place. The inspirational part of this will perhaps be dealt with in a little bit, particularly on the part of individuals in the community who wish to express some support for the school district. The last thing I want to mention as part of my announcement is that we're not done graduating people this year. GAP has got a graduation all stitched up and ready to go at the end of the month, June 30th, and so we invite you to celebrate Greeley Alternative Programs graduation, and the board can agree it's some of the happiest work we get to do is seeing people be successful and graduate and move on to other things. At this time, I'm going to open the possibility of hearing from persons desiring to speak before the Board of Education, and this will be broken down, with your permission, into 2 different groups. One is associated with the oil and gas development near Bella Romero Academy. Normally we have a limited amount of time that we place for these discussions, but these topics this evening are of pretty high priority, and I'll just extend the period of time necessary for us to hear the individuals who have something to express on these topics. There is no direct board response to these communication efforts. We're just up here tonight to hear the words from individuals who are interested in expressing an opinion on these topics. And so the first person expressing an interest in the oil and gas development near Bella Romero is Ms. Wendy. Is it Hybe? Someone will correct me. Thank you. Please, is it actually right? Great. And you're a Greeley resident. Please step forward. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you very much. I sent you a letter a day ago, and I will repeat it a little bit so the public can hear some of the context. I'm a resident of Greeley and a founding member of the grassroots citizens group Weld Air and Water, We're very concerned about the proposed location by Extraction Oil and Gas, LLC, of a large oil and gas facility near the Bella Romero Academy, near the intersection of 24th and Cherry. According to the 2A application filed with the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission, the proposed site is only 1,364 feet from the school building, and it appears to be within just a few hundred feet of the play areas. And this matter is scheduled for a hearing before the Weld County Commissioners on June 22nd. Currently, state regulations require a setback distance of 1,000 feet from the building, but research by public health scientists released in February of 2016 concludes that the state-mandated setback distance is insufficient. And that's in the peer-reviewed journal Environmental Health Perspectives. That was released in February, and Dr. Marcia Haley of the University of Pittsburgh studied a range of setback distances from 150 to 1,500 feet, and she and her co-authors conclude that, quote, based on historical catastrophic events, thermal modeling, vapor cloud modeling, and air pollution data, these distances do not appear sufficient to protect public health and safety. We're very concerned that the most impacted group, the parents of the Bella Romero Academy students, have not received adequate notice of the permit applications, nor have they been given the opportunity to become informed and to consider the possible risks to their children. The proposed site is a significant industrial operation, and the health and safety of the Bella Romero students should be of the utmost concern. And the democratic right of their parents to participate in the permitting process has been curtailed by inadequate notice, insufficient information provision, and a lack of an accessible process. I was thinking of two analogies for the situation, either permission slips or the IRB process, the Institutional Review Board process. Back in my day, permission slips were required for field trips because they were off-school grounds and out of the ordinary, out of the norm. And I'm concerned, is the location of heavy industry adjacent to our children's schools and playgrounds the new norm for Greeley and Weld County? And then the other analogy I was thinking of was the Institutional Review Board process, where if you're part of a health-related study, you're entitled to be given adequate notice of the risks involved. I see I've run out of my time, so I will stop, but I appreciate being given the time to talk with you. And did you want the copy of the article? I provided the letter to you, but...
I think we all received the letter. Oh, the original article would be dandy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Hyde, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Maydeen Worley. Is that correct, your last name? Thank you. And you live in Greeley.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. The letter that I sent to you, or that I submitted to you by email, speaks first about the Weld County Planning Commission recommending that Extraction hold a meeting with school personnel and parents of children at the school. And I ask that the school board contact Extraction and set up such a meeting. Next, some or many parents may speak English as a second language and may need a translated invitation and an interpreter at such a meeting. Placing a small sign in English near the school after school recess for the summer is not proper notification. Third, the school board is responsible for the well-being of school children on campus. And fourth, I feel the issues of child endangerment and social injustice are important issues and should be considered in the placement of an oil and gas facility at this location. I just want to mention the U.S. Code and Colorado codes. In Colorado, well, I'll mention Colorado. Instances of neglect under CRS 19.3.102 include where a child's environment is injurious to his or her welfare. And we feel that this environment with the well site would be injurious to the children's welfare. I have two studies to mention. One is, does noise affect learning? And the impact shows that second language learners are even more impaired than age-matched controls in this noise study, and there would be plenty of noise for the children on this campus while they're drilling. The other one concerns potential hazards of air pollutant emissions from unconventional oil and natural gas operations on the respiratory health of children and infants. And I'll just say, existing research suggests that exposure to these pollutants can lead to adverse respiratory outcomes, and children are known to be at greater risk from exposure to air pollutants that impair lung function and neurodevelopment. And they would certainly be exposed at this distance from the well site. And that is all I have to say, and I'll give you the two studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'll mention.
The next speaker is Ms. Barbara Flores, and if production can turn up the microphone at the speaker, we're having a little difficulty hearing our soft speakers. Maybe someone will be shouting. Are you ready to shout, Ms. Flores?
I don't, whoa. Yeah,
My
right.
fault.
Maybe I shouldn't shout.
Thank you.
The concern I'm going to address here, my name's Barbara Flores, and I live at 2045 Cherry Avenue, which is just dead west of Bella Romero on Cherry. The oil and gas company has stated that they will be exiting trucks onto Cherry Avenue. My concern is that every morning and in the afternoon, I see children walking to and from school along Cherry. There's also a number of parents that drive their children to school along Cherry Avenue, but Cherry has no sidewalks. And so these children are walking on the side of the road. And I'm concerned about these large trucks going up and down Cherry for what would be at least 2 years while they are doing the drilling. And possibly after that, they are not sure how they are getting the oil in and out, if they will have a pipeline or not. And I just wanted to voice those concerns.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Bella Wells. I don't think I'm mispronouncing that. Bella? Okay, thank you. No, well,
No, it looks like Bella Wells.
oh,
it is
my
Teresa.
thumb was under, you and I have never met, have we, Therese? Bella Wells, I thought to myself, now that's kind of coincidental.
Well, sounds great. Good stage name.
Can we start this over? The next speaker is Therese Gilbert,
Well, hello.
an employee of the school district.
Yes, and thank you for your
You
time
wish to
tonight.
talk about Bella Wells?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Not
Thank you.
Bella Wells, but again, love it. I don't want to go over what others have already mentioned, but I am also one of the founding members of Weld Air and Water. And just to give you some context, we became very concerned about residential drilling 5 years ago. And what makes these wells personal to us is that the minerals they're trying to access were originally minerals that were to be accessed by proposed wells in our neighborhood, 5th Avenue and 16th. And we worked very hard, and we worked with the city, and those wells were able to be moved out of that neighborhood, as are the Gilbert wells that were to be drilled next to Greeley West. And we don't feel better to know now that these wells are proposed behind a school. If I could go back, I maybe would rather have them in my neighborhood than behind a school. I also want to reference the new study that came out February this year. Know that before 2012, there were no studies. There were none. By 2014, there were a handful. Now, because science is slow and careful, data has to be, received and analyzed, we have over 500 studies. And the study that I shared with you, and I also have extra copies, is really about the 5 different pollutants that are most hazardous to children and why we're most concerned about air quality in children. First of all, they're developing their lung capacity. Secondly, this is according to the study, due to their smaller size, their respiratory systems are more exposed to air pollution and have a larger lung surface. They have narrower airways, which also contributes to their increased susceptibility. They are shorter. They inhale a greater concentration of particulate air pollutants and dust. They have an increased resting respiratory rate, and bottom line, they spend more time outdoors than most of us. So the fact that the issue is not so much how many feet from the school, but 500 feet from the soccer field. This is where kids will be playing and breathing. And the study suggests that unconventional oil and gas complexes should be a mile away from schools, and that health effects are seen within 2,500 feet. So that is our concern. So little issues that extraction brings forth, like are they going to electric drill or not, are very important. You can't be diesel drilling next to children. You have to have electric drilling. They don't have this permit figured out with Excel yet, the High Line. The truck traffic has been mentioned. How they're delivering the sand. They do have increased mitigations for air quality. They're using LDAR. They're not using thief hatches to offload. Needless to say, our group knows a whole lot about this. And still, the wells will leak. They will by nature. There are 18 tanks proposed, and by COGSI's estimates, these tanks leak 5%. So if you do the math, 18 times 5 is one well leaking 90%. It's too much, 500 feet from a playground. So we would just like to encourage you to work closer with the producer to get some of these promises nailed down if they are to drill there, and hopefully we can find a better location. And I have extra copies of the study if you're interested. Thanks again for your time. I'm in a little...
I'll probably call you Bella from now on. All right? Thank you, and I apologize. I'll do that again. The next speaker is Carl Erickson. I did that. And Mr. Erickson, you're also a Greeley resident.
Yes, I
Thank
live in
you.
the Arlington neighborhood.
Great, thank you.
First, thank you very much for allowing me to address you this evening. I appreciate it. I'm going to pass some papers around. Just do the old take one. Pass it down. What I've handed out is a list of advisories that the City of Greeley attached to their comments filed with the Weld County Planning Commission. I call your attention to the highlighted advisory asking for a neighborhood meeting. This was done and city officials and 3 or 4 neighbors showed up. I would urge this board to, in order to get a better outcome for a meeting, and also to give you a little bit of enlightenment on a possible out, a way forward, and I like solutions. One thing that you could do would be to contact Brad Mueller, who's right there, Troy Swain, who is with Weld County, and they're both local government designees listed with the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. And Director Matt Lepore, also of Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission, for an extension to the comment period so as to garner more input from citizens in Greeley and unincorporated Weld County, out where Bella Romero is, to get more input and also to facilitate a meeting that would get more input from the community and the students and parents of students. So that's what I wanted to address with you tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.